Hey everybody, welcome back to Worried to Wealthy. Today we're talking about the sexy topic of credit scores. It's definitely not sexy, something you need to know. It can definitely be boring, but it's important. And I'll show you just a few just like small steps on how it can help. And so let's go ahead and get into it. We had a whopping dividend come in from OUSA. That's Kevin O'Leary's dividend ETF of 7 cents, baby. Look at that passive income. Um, all right, let's get into it. So today we're talking about credit scores. I have a credit score above 800, and so I figured I'd have something to say about it. And again, I hope I help somebody out today. That being said, of course, my disclaimer: this is not financial advice. I'm not a accredited or licensed financial advisor. So if you do need advice, go ahead and seek one out. I say that not only to protect myself, but I do say it to protect you as well. Again, I'm just a guy on YouTube, but I am trying to help somebody out here. So I really hope this helps somebody out. Um, so let's get into it. 802, you can find this anywhere, by the way. When I was a kid, I was like, okay, what's a credit score and where do I find it? And they're like, well, it's something about borrowing and, you don't really want to check it because it'll get dinged. And I was like, well, how, what the HE double hockey stick, how, it's just frustrating. Like, if it's important, I want to know what it is. But if it's important, I check it, then I get dinged. Nowadays, it's cool. You can check it. I actually use Credit Karma. Um, and so, yeah, I use Credit Karma. It's pretty cool. And so I'm going to teach you a couple things. What is a good credit score? A good credit score is probably 740 to 799. Excellent is 800 and up. And so let's go see what it takes to get an 800 credit score, or maybe a better way to put it, what do I need to do to increase it? And I'm going to show you a couple different things. Part of it's going to be on my phone because Credit Karma has a better app, I think, than a website. But I love Credit Karma. This used to be a lot worse, by the way. It's just because I didn't have anything. I remember when I first was like learning about this, I was like, cool, I must have a good credit score because I've never not paid a debt. And like, that's not how it works. You don't have a great one. I'm like, well, and they're like, yeah, because you haven't done anything. Well, I was like, I haven't done anything bad. And so I had to work on this for over like, 3 or 4 or 5 years. But basically, here's a couple of things. These three at the bottom, at the end of the day, I wouldn't really worry about this. These top three are the high, you can see high impact, high impact, high impact, medium, low, low. Hard inquiries, basically, this is when you buy a house. They usually hit you with a hard inquiry. I think that's kind of dumb. But I don't make the rules. So basically, when you're looking to buy a house, you lower your credit score like a little bit. Again, it's low impact, so don't worry about that too much. Total accounts. This is open and closed. How many credit cards have you had open and closed? Just total. So when you close one out, open another one. It's just they're adding them all together. It's low impact. I wouldn't really worry about this too much. I would worry about basically from here up, and even this one. You can't really affect credit age, right? Once you open a credit card, okay, the app, if you only have one credit card, you open it up this month, well, then your average age is 1 month, and they're going to say, okay, it needs work, right? I'll even show you. So if you go into here, so you go and it's fair. So you learn about the ratings. 0 to 4 is just needs work. 5 to 6 is fair. 7 to 8 years is good of average age, right? So let's say on a different scenario, you've had a credit card for 10 years, right? You open up a new credit card. Your credit card age went from excellent because you've had it for 10 years. And then now you opened up another one. So basically that cuts 10 years in half because it's the average of open accounts. So you're dividing it by two. And so you would automatically put yourself back to fair. And so excellent. If we all want an 800 credit score, we have to do something that's excellent in their eyes. And so, yeah. So honestly, you're not going to fast forward time. This kind of happens over time. The things that you can really do to help out is these top three. And so the first one is very simple: payment history. So if I click on this payment history, all it is do you have a late payment? Yes or no? And this is crucial. This is like 30 to 35% of your score. You get this right, you're on your way to having better credit score. And let's learn about the ratings. all it is excellent, 100%. If you drop by 1%, you have like, 1% in late fees, you automatically go to good. And then 2% is fair and 3% is need work. They are very, very hard on payment history rating. So let's say, let's take like 100 months, for example. So each month is 1%, 100 divided by 12 months. So that's about 8 years. So if you miss one payment in 8 years, you automatically go down to good. And the whole point of this is we're trying to get an 800 credit score. And what is a credit score? It's basically how risky of a borrower you are to banks or financial institutions. And it's basically, I'll show you in a minute on interest rates on how that affects it, but your credit score affects the interest rate that you're going to get. So if you have a good credit score, you'll get a good interest rate. If you have a bad credit score, you're going to get a bad interest rate, as in higher interest rate. If you have an excellent credit score, then you're going to have an excellent interest rate, and interest rates you want as low as you can. So that's basically it. How do I help? How do I get 100%? Do I just every single month I'm constantly checking to make sure I don't miss, when the payment date is? No, there's something called auto pay, and just I put all of them on auto pay. So if this is the biggest thing that will affect your score, and I'm going to show you the second and the third. So the second one is credit card use. This requires a little bit of math. It's a little confusing, but then once you get it, you're like, oh, that makes total sense. It just kind of takes a minute. So when you get a credit card, if you have one already, you might know this. If you have a credit card and don't know this, just go find it real fast. They'll definitely tell you what your limit is. And if you don't have Credit Karma, I would suggest to go ahead and get that. I really like it. You can look at it every single day. I did for a while, and it doesn't affect your score, but it doesn't really change that much. So you might get bored watching it. But the second thing is credit card usage. What the heck is this? So I'll give you a tip on how to get to here. I don't necessarily care about the limit being super high, but it does affect my score. It's a high impact, and right now I have an excellent rating. And so what is an excellent rating? Credit card usage ratings. Need work is 50% and over. Fair is 30 to 49%. Good is 10 to 29. Using 10 to 29% of your limit. And excellent is using 0 to 9% of your credit card usage. And so a lot of people, you might see this on other YouTube channels, or even people in general have told me this. Use 30% or less of your credit card. Well, if you use 30%, and this is the second biggest thing that's going to affect your score. If you use 30%, you're teetering between here and here. A fair to good, you don't want a fair interest rate. You want an excellent one. And so it takes a little bit of, I guess, like discipline, I guess. And so you can even see this one. This one's getting close to 9, but I paid that off. And here's all it is. We need a calculator. I was doing some examples earlier. Basically, here's what you do. If you have a credit card with a $10,000 limit, you're going to do 10,000. And we want 9% or lower, right? And so you multiply by 0.09. That's going to get you 9% of 10,000. You're going to click equals. It's going to be 900. And so you don't ever want your credit usage, right? You don't want to use when $9,000 or $900 of your $10,000 limit, and your score will shoot up. It won't like shoot up immediately, right? But I promise you it will show up. It will shoot up. Do I think it's kind of dumb? Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why people would give you a limit of $10,000 and then give you a bad score when you use the $10,000. It just is what it is. It's really weird. I don't know, but that's basically how you do it, right? And so what I wanted to do, my daily expenses, or my monthly expenses, excuse me, never are more than $9,000. I mean, not even close. I wouldn't be even close to financially independent. But what's nice is, again, this is high and this is low. So this is pretty much always going to be low from here on out. Now, how do you get to this limit? Do they automatically increase your limit? Maybe. I've never seen it. Here's what you do. I got this tip from my friend's aunt. All you do, she said, and I've done this 9 times now. It works really, really well. all you do is you go and you call up American Express, Discover, Visa, Citi, whatever your credit card is, give them a call and do this every 6 to 12 months and just give them a call and say, hey, I'd like to increase my credit limit. And they say, okay, no problem. I'll probably ask you a few questions like, what's your income? Do you have any debt? Do you have any like alimony or child support that you need to pay? After that, they typically how that my conversations have gone is they'd say, okay, would you like to increase it by A or would you like to increase it by B? And they'll let you know if you get approved or not right on the phone typically. And so I always go for A is usually the smaller number, B is usually the bigger number. I usually go for the smaller one just to get that limit increasing. And then basically your credit card usage, you do that again once every 6 to 12 months. I've gotten this won't hurt your credit score. At least I haven't seen it hurt my credit score because it's a soft inquiry. If you go back in this video, you'll see that hard inquiries have a low impact. This is a soft one. And so I've only had it done once because I called after 4 months of doing it. And then they say, yeah, just every 6 to 12 months, whatever you're comfortable with, this will increase it. And then you'll be able to put more of your daily, monthly expenses onto your credit card, especially if you're a point person. So yeah, see all these are zeros. One's like 7%. So total usage is 2%. They love to see it. The final one, I don't really have any advice on this, is just derogatory marks. And all it says is like, oh, well, I guess they logged me off. But basically derogatory marks, basically all that is tax liens, bankruptcies and stuff like that. I really don't have any good advice. I haven't gone through one of those. But yeah, that's basically all it is. So if you can get any derogatory marks off, then perfect. Of course, a bankruptcy would affect your credit score. So again, one is payment history. Throw that bad boy on auto payment and you won't even have to think about it as the biggest one that affects it. I'll actually go to here and I'll show you payment history, amount owed, 30% of your score. So again, if you make sure that you figure out what your limit is, don't spend more than 9% of it. And if you do have 9%, and you're about to go over, just pay off, your credit card balance, your limit or your usage will go back to zero, and then you can add more. That's really all it is. And again, the rest of them are like length of credit history. Like you're not going to fast forward time. It's just the more information that banks get, the more risky or less risky the data is, and so yeah, that's really basically it. Now, going over to how interest rates really help, let's say, for example, you're trying to buy a house. And let's say, back in the day, you probably have heard of people like, oh, I got a 2%, 3% interest rate. Low interest rates are good. They really are good. Maybe I'll do another video on it, but basically, you want a low interest rate. So when you have an excellent credit score of 800 and above, right, you're going to get an excellent credit score or excellent interest rate. And that's basically what this is. So let's say, yeah, I mean, you buy a $400,000 house, just for example purposes, your payment is going to be this, right? Let's say you borrow $400,000 and you have a good credit score. I'm not saying, this is just for example purposes. I'm not saying if you have, a credit score of somewhere in the good range that this is going to be it when you go. But let's say, for example, 7. So what was 3? 3 was 1686. Let's go to 7. That jumps a wild amount, 2661, right? So we go back to the calculator, 2661 minus, I think it was 1686. So you go ahead and click equals. That is a difference of almost $1,000. That's just absolutely wild to me, right? That's what the interest rates with the Fed are, which is a whole other conversation. We don't need to get into it right now. But yeah, it's a difference of $1,000 basically, round up with 25 bucks. That's what's wild. And what's crazy is you look in the 80s, they had interest rates of like 12%. Like imagine having an interest rate of 12%, right? The first one with 3%, an excellent credit score, it's an excellent interest rate, right? So we do 411. This is a terrible credit score and terrible interest rate, minus 1686. You're buying the same exact house, right? This is the same exact house in this example, but it really just depends on your interest rate. And $4,000 a month is a lot worse than having 1686. And so that's it. That's really all that a credit score is. It's just how it's going to affect your interest rate. And you can tell, I mean, this is over, imagine over 30 years or times 12 months times what, 30 years. That's a lot of money of total money, right? Part of that's going to principal. But again, I hope this helps somebody out. That's all I'm trying to do with Worry the Wealthy. I will say I am super freaking stoked, guys. We have over 100 views already. Our subscribers are really starting to jump. And I'm just excited. I'm just having fun with this. I really hope I help somebody out. The reason why, again, you guys probably know the spiel by now if you're a subscriber, but reason why I made this channel in the first place is I just want to help somebody out. I think this would have helped me out when I was younger, so I'm trying to do it now and just help somebody out. Of course, you guys know the deal. Camper would love the like and subscribe. It just takes a couple of seconds, helps out the YouTube algorithm. We would really, really appreciate it. She actually got a new ball. It's like a giant orange one, and she loves it. It's like the size of a soccer ball. So we were playing soccer with her. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for coming to Worried to Wealthy again. Throw me a like and subscribe if you guys liked it, and subscribe for more content. We'll be coming out with some more stuff. I'll give you guys an update on my all cash month, and I'll let you guys know if I went under or over. Until next time, thank you for joining, and we'll talk to you later.